Adam,
Hey, Steve.
it's a new year.
It's a new us.
What? I'm still the same.
I don't know. You took the New Year one, so I was like, New Year, new me.
I'm the
New
same.
Year, new us.
I'm probably worse already than last year.
I feel like I cruised right through 2020 into 2021. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense. Just New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Nothing. 2020 was nuts, to say the least. But New Year's Eve to New Year's Day specifically, cruised right through it.
Cruised. I drank right through it.
Good for you.
Yeah. It was fun.
Anything of note?
Yeah, I mean, I've got all the regulars in behind the bar, but I did happen to get some Weller 12-year bourbon.
Have you tried it yet?
Yeah, I had some on Christmas Eve.
And
It's the
what
best
are
I've
your
ever had.
thoughts?
I love it.
Oh, come on, really?
Yes.
All right, I'm getting in my car. I'm coming over to have some.
Adam, I don't think you're ready for the mind-blowing experience that this is going to give you.
Especially since I'll be outside on your doorstep
I'll make a fire.
drinking it in the negative degree weather.
I'll make a fire. It's beautiful out.
Okay.
I've had
Okay,
shorts
that's
on the
okay.
past 2 days.
It's really not that cold.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed, our partnership with the East Side and the East Side on.
Absolutely.
And you know what we're doing tonight?
Continuing that partnership?
We are. I mean, we're doing tonight, today, whatever time you're listening. That's when we're doing it. And I'm excited to have the owner of Von Trier on. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Beyond excited.
Beyond excited.
I am very excited for this historic occasion.
Yes, it is historic. And we have Mark on the show. Mark, how are you?
I am very well. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mark, I'm a huge fan of Von Trier, first of all. Just let's get that out. And I'm sure Adam is too. But I care less about Adam when we're on the show. So
yes,
yeah,
that's very true.
It doesn't really matter much. But so we're super excited to learn more about everything that's going on and just some background on Von Trier. So happy to have you, Adam. You're right. This is historic. Von Trier has been a staple over there. And
I mean, North and Farwell.
And I like one of the memories, guys, that sticks out in my head of being there is we stopped there between the ceremony and the reception of a wedding. And we had the kids with us, and they sat at the bar and had some root beer or some kitty cocktails. But it was just a perfect place to be on a summer day between a reception or a ceremony and a reception and hanging out. And Mark, I'm sure you get that a lot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, surprisingly, we do get a lot of wedding parties in Von Trier. And it's just that they're in between the reception, or in between the ceremony and the reception, and whether it's the wedding party itself that has some memorable experience there that they want to quick reminisce before the wedding, or they had couples come in that got married and then came in on their wedding day and said, "Oh, we met here." So we had
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
So we do get a lot of wedding parties in, and it's fun. It's always fun because, of course, the wedding day, everyone's in a great mood and partying and having a good time.
Oh yeah.
I would say it's probably because it's at least for me, I think it's like the perfect vibe of a place. Like you can chill, you can get a little rowdy. It welcomes everyone in that respect.
That's the East Side. The East Side celebrates diversity.
Yes.
And and Voncher does so as well. I mean, you can come in and have a conversation, or like you said, you can get a little rowdy. You can watch a football game or watch an old movie. We
Yeah.
have them both on, you know. So it's very diverse.
So, Mark, where we usually start is we pretend that the audience has never heard of you or Von Trier, and I mean certainly they've never heard of Adam or me, so that's a given. But we pretend that they've never heard of you, and so what's sort of the high level background, your story here to owning Von Trier, and then just the background of the place itself.
So my background, I've been in the bar business industry for over 20 years. Pretty much of those 20 years, 18 of them or so as an owner. I did act as a general manager, just a minority owner of one place at one time. But
Mm-hmm.
Opened my first place in West Dallas in 1997, and just kept kind of parlaying that from there up until the purchase of Von Trier. I have some other places right now. Unfortunately, recently, due to the pandemic, had to permanently close Jackson's Blue Ribbon Pub
Oh man.
downtown on 10th of
Oh
Juno.
no.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah,
place.
yeah, that was a really great place as well. And that's kind of the motif of my places. They're all very historic, either in a historic building or the place itself has a bunch of history.
Uh-huh.
Because another place I have is called the Red Mill Inn in Brookfield,
Okay.
and that's been
Sure.
continuously licensed since 1935.
Wow.
But Von Trier, my history with Von Trier itself, it's really kind of funny. The place, my history kind of came full circle when I bought Von Trier. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story of Carl, the founder of Von Trier.
No.
I am not.
Nope.
It's a crazy, interesting story, and people can look it up. They could Google a Milwaukee Magazine article that was printed years ago and then just recently reprinted about 2 years ago. But Carl founded the place in 1978, and he was kind of a mean old guy, and he was actually murdered. He was closing the bar one night, and he lived in a duplex just a block away on Murray Street, a couple blocks.
Yeah.
And he was going in his back door at 3:30 in the morning, and he got shot right in the stomach with a crossbow,
Oh my gosh.
and he passed. He died, and no one was ever charged.
Mm-hmm.
There's no charges ever brought for his murder. There's a lot of speculation, but one of the guys who inherited the place, one of two guys, was a lifelong friend of my father's. And we called him Zebby. And my dad said, well, we got to go down and visit Zebby. He took over this place called Von Trier. And I was 18 years old. And the legal drinking age back then was 18. So I went in there and I had a Weiss beer. It was the number one selling Weiss beer bar in the state at that time.
Oh wow.
And I went in and instantly fell in love with the place. Like it was home for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, for whatever reason, I was just so attracted to the place, the decor, the ambiance. And then it didn't hurt that there was this beautiful server that worked there named Mary. And I
That always helps.
kept going back to see Mary. And yeah, then I hung out at the place for years, and then just kind of drifted away from it. And when John Sitoff, he was John and Cindy, the previous owners, he reached out to me, less than 2 years ago now, and said, I am for sure retiring this time. And you're on a short list of people that I want to show the place to. Are you interested? That was on a Thursday. And I said, yes, can I meet you on Sunday? I met him at 9:00 on Sunday morning and walked out at 11 a.m. with the deal.
Oh wow.
And because I knew he really made a favorable deal for us. He wanted whoever took it over to succeed. and I knew if I didn't take advantage of the deal immediately, someone else would come along and do it. So
Right.
I made the deal sort of on the spot, and I walked out of the place and I called my dad right away and I said, "Dad, you're not going to believe what I just bought. Yeah, can you give me a clue?" I said, "Von Trier." He's like, and Zebby has since passed since then too. And he goes, "Oh my gosh." He goes, "Zebby's got to be rolling in his grave right now." So, but a great place with a ton of history. Carl was a really interesting individual. He was from Trier, Germany, hence the name Von Trier.
Sure.
And for several years, he went to Germany to bring back artifacts from Trier because he really wanted the place to remind him of a German beer hall in his hometown. So a lot of the things that are in there are authentic German artifacts, relics from Germany.
Wow.
And then, of course, the very famous, Milwaukee famous at least, elk chandelier.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are familiar with
That
that.
is very Milwaukee, at least Milwaukee famous,
Yeah.
if not just famous in general.
Yeah.
Because that's hilariously, that's whenever we talk about Von Trier, somebody always says something about the chandelier. Not like 99% of the time, it's always about the chandelier, and you're like, yeah, that's the place. You know it.
You know it.
And that chandelier is an amazing piece of history in itself, commissioned by Frederick Pabst himself, and once hung in the Pabst mansion. And they were going to tear the Pabst mansion down. They had an auction. Carl bought the chandelier, and then the Friends of Pabst were organized and saved the mansion, and they wanted it back. And Carl said, "No way,
Nope.
you can't have it." And it's been hanging in Von Trier ever since.
I like
But,
that stand your ground
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yep.
Mark, we usually ask, especially with the past year, what have been the most challenging and most fun parts of owning whatever place we're talking about. I'm just curious, though, with everything you've said, did you feel any, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but did you feel anything like that in taking over this place that just has this like solidified like vision in people's heads that so many Milwaukeeans have been there and hung out and for so long?
I don't know for me if I really felt pressured, but I knew right away that we would not change it from Von Trier.
Mm-hmm.
There were other people, I won't mention names or organizations, but there were other interested parties. Two of the main parties that really had heavy interest in the place were, their plans were to immediately change it from Von Trier. And when I came in, I said one of the things I would not change it from Von Trier. It is just such a East Side landmark, and I feel such an important part of that landscape that there's just no desire whatsoever on my part to change it from Von Trier. It's just, I don't know. I think I just feel that whole intersection, it's gone through so much change already.
Right.
I think that intersection would just, I don't know, it just wouldn't be the same without Von Trier there.
What things have you done or are you thinking of doing that might just give it a little updating?
Well, the big thing that we did was build a brand new kitchen. So we relocated the two restrooms that are in the back. There's two. So another thing about that building that's pretty interesting that probably the average customer doesn't know, but it's actually two separate buildings. So when you go from the front bar area to the back room, you're actually entering a separate building. There's actually a walkway, so to speak, between the two buildings that are now roofed over. So if you go on our patio and look in this door, you can still see the outside of both of those buildings. There's two restrooms in the front building and there's two restrooms in the back building. We took those two previously existing restrooms and moved them across a hallway to a little alcove so we could run the kitchen all the way to where those two bathrooms were.
Okay.
So we greatly expanded the kitchen, put in a real hood ventilation system, which did not exist previously, and we added a full line, so to speak, deep fryers, charbroilers, flat grill, oven, the whole works. So that was going to be our biggest change, was really stepping up the food at the location.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it literally was probably 50 days or so after the kitchen opened that the shutdown occurred.
Oh, man.
So we're still working on, we really haven't had a chance to really showcase the kitchen and the food and what we can really do. So that was going to be the biggest change, is just didn't really I had no interest in making it a German restaurant by any means, but I did want to add a Friday fish fry because that's, vintage Milwaukee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's totally a Milwaukee thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with a little German flair on it, and then some, we have a variety of sausages, and we do have some schnitzel and things like that, some German dishes, and then of course wings and burgers, your traditional bar food. So that was going to be the biggest change, because it would also allow us to do more parties, small, events, private events, so to speak, birthday parties, anniversary, retirement, whatever the case. If you don't have a good food offering, it's hard to attract those kind of groups.
Mark, a lot of our guests have favorite hot spots around Milwaukee that they enjoy going to when they're not uh working their butts off,
You're right.
owning their own
Exactly.
business.
Yeah.
Are there a few spots in Milwaukee that either you're missing right now or you're excited that you still get to experience?
Obviously, with this pandemic, it's just I don't get to get out as much as I used to. But I also have 2 8-year-old girls at home, so. But I do still make it quite regularly, because I live very nearby to O'Donoghue's in Elm Grove. But as far as the east side, I mean, I like going to Hacienda. They've got
Oh yeah.
really good beer. I was really glad to see that addition to the east side neighborhood. And I try and get around downtown when I can.
Adam, you don't know this, but I just drive over to your house and park in front of it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
No biggie.
That's your hotspot in Milwaukee?
That's my newest hotspot.
The front of my house covered
Sometimes
in
I take
snow.
some photos. I just send them to myself. Hey, Mark. If I guess you mentioned the kitchen's going, not how you planned, of course, and I think that's could be said for a lot of places.
Yeah.
Currently, but how are things working now? Like, can people order curbside, or how do they interact with Von Trier right now?
They can call in orders. We will bring them all curbside. Most people are just coming in to get the orders. But certainly if someone's not comfortable with that, we will absolutely bring it out to curbside. It can just be a little bit of a challenge on the east side, of course.
Yeah.
But we do have a city parking lot right behind us, so we just kind of queue people up in that parking lot.
Oh, nice.
Need be. But we are serving, dine in. People can also come in and we're very, very safe and clean and social distanced and, doing everything that we're supposed to do. I might mention that most of it is what a good restaurant and bar tavern does anyway, with or without a pandemic.
Right.
But we're taking all the precautions necessary, and we are safe, and people can still dine in. But if that's not your comfort level, then of course carry out or curbside. We don't participate in any of the delivery services because I found that it's just ends up not being a good representation of your product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm,
I
yeah,
think
very.
yeah.
That's a very that's a very good point.
Yeah, it happens a
It
lot.
sure can.
Yep. So
Yeah.
if it sounds like people can go online, check the menu, give you guys a call or stop in or so what are the other good ways for them to sort of stay connected with Von Trier overall, like on the socials or anything?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, and then Von Trier's. It's actually for the website. It actually even though it's Von Trier, our website is vontriers.com because we weren't able to get Von Trier way back in whenever.
Somebody snatched up Von Trier too
Yeah,
fast.
somehow. So it's vontriers.com, and we are on Facebook as well, and yeah. But it's always been a place where you can really just come in, kick back, relax, listen to music, but without having to scream to have a conversation. It's always been a real just kind of chill vibe with fantastic beer. And, I would argue that we for sure have the best German beer collection in the city. And,
Oh yeah.
and I would put our old fashioned pretty much up against anyone. So, for me, the best is still just come on out and visit us. And again, I know that's not everyone's comfort level right now, and that's understandable. But we are open and we are serving food. And again, if that's not your comfort level, we'd be happy to put something together for you to go.
Yeah, I've gone there after playing a show. I've gone there just to hang out with a friend. I've gone there between wedding things, like I said. And for me, Mark, Von Trier always has been that place to chill, sort of slow down for a minute and enjoy the time you have with the people you're with.
Yes, that's exactly what we're about. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, even if it's with Adam sometimes.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah.
Plus, the German beer. German beer is by far of all the crazy beer and craft breweries that I visit and everything. German beer always feels, I don't know what it is, but it always feels like home. It's always just like so delicious.
Well, awesome. Mark, this was really cool. I love the stories. It feels like, and Adam, like we could sit and have a beer with Mark and just talk through these stories like the whole night.
I know. We went from everything from hey, the kitchen's open to the original owner was murdered.
Yeah.
and back again.
Yeah.
It was a wild ride.
I love it. And I hope it gives it's hard to do it over a podcast, but if it gives the audience just some appreciation for this place and its history and how it keeps rocking and rolling, that's good.
It really is an amazing place with all the authentic stained glass and the mug collection and everything in there. It's just it really is a very, very nice establishment. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and we have an amazing staff.
Yeah,
the staff is very knowledgeable, very friendly. They get service, they get customer service. And it's a fun place to be.
absolutely.
Whether I owned it or not, it's definitely a place where I'd be bellied up at the bar time and again.
Oh, amen. Well, Mark, this was awesome. Thanks for joining us. Adam, thank you as well, as always.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Adam.
Steve, should we meet at Von Trier after this?
If I could drive, I would.
If I could drive, I would too. I guess we'll just have to wait till tomorrow.
All right. And now,
Milwaukee's own Black Belt Theater.